It's been a while since I do an off-camera flash versus natural light photo shoot.
Hi everybody, it's Christina from Photoshoot here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In the past 2 months, I've been mostly doing natural light portrait photo shoots, but my fans have been yearning to see the off-camera flash portrait behind the scenes, and that's why I'm doing one today and will be using dance photography as an example. I'll compare the result with those shot in the natural light. As I always say, as long as the background is not brighter than the subject, there's really no right or wrong whether you just use pure natural light or add in a flash. You just get different results. Whenever you're shooting portraits, just be aware that there are 2 exposures, the exposure of the subject and the exposure of the background, and you should evaluate them separately. In flash photography, the background exposure is equivalent to your ambient exposure, which is the light of the surrounding, and this is controlled by the camera's ISO, aperture, and shutter speed, whereas the subject is controlled by the flash. As the intensity and the angle of the ambient light will change as time goes by, I have to change my camera settings accordingly. I'm dividing this photo shoot into 3 time slots, and in each time slot, I'll be doing both the natural light version and the off-camera flash version, and then I'll compare the result.
Time slot 1, late afternoon bright light. Time slot 2, backlit photos in golden hour. In time slot 3, we returned to the same location as in time slot 1, but it has become a complete shade. In this video, we'll focus on time slot 1. Time slots 2 and 3 will be in the next video. If you want to refresh on how to do flash portrait photography, please check out my very first YouTube tutorial, and I'll put a link in the description down below. In time slot 1, you can see that the location is lit by the sun directly. The light is harsh but dramatic. And if the dancer Jennifer is standing in front of the background, her face will also be lit by the sun. Will natural light still look good, and how will a flash change the look of the photo? I exposed for Jennifer when I'm shooting in natural light. The sun is lighting up both the background and Jennifer at the same intensity, and this means 2 things. Number 1, they will have almost the same exposure. So when Jennifer is properly lit, the background will also be well exposed. Second, I could use a faster shutter speed for capturing her dance movement when she's facing the bright light.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Beautiful.
I'm not afraid of using harsh sunlight in portrait photography, but I only do it in the late afternoon. I often have my subject face the sun to create different portrait lighting patterns, say the Rembrandt and the butterfly lightings.
1, 2, 3, go. Okay, beautiful. Now do this again, but this time you'll look away. Look at the direction of your motion. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Beautiful.
I know the next morning when the sun goes out, it might be
So pretty.
the last day
Okay.
you and me.
Now let's add a flash. But if the subject is already being sufficiently lit by the sun, why do we still want a flash? You'll see the result soon, but before that, I want to emphasize that the flash here is not to freeze the motion. A short flash duration can freeze the motion only if the ambient light is cut off, which is not this case. Also, my shutter speed is already fast enough to freeze the motion. As I'm shooting in full sun, so a strong flash or strobe is needed to overpower the sun. In this case, I'm using the Flashpoint 8600 strobe. As a rule of thumb, you always want your flash to be high and dip down at around 45 degrees angle.
Let me underexpose the background more. Now I'm doing 8,000 of a second f2.8 ISO 100. Okay, I'm on full power.
The light intensity is still not strong enough even though I'm on full power, so I have to bring the flash closer to Jennifer.
Okay, so I will click the shutter as you do this, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Here's the result that I want. With a flash, I can handle the background and the subject exposures separately. I can underexpose the background by dialing to a faster shutter speed, and at the same time, Jennifer is lit beautifully by the flash and can stand out from the background. And I love the dramatic result.
I will shoot it at the height of your movement, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3, boom! Lovely.
And here's a comparison between flash and no flash. Notice that the no flash scenario is just my ambient exposure. rather than the result of using the natural light. I'll expose for Jennifer in natural light portraits, but I will expose for the background when I'm determining the ambient exposure in flash photography.
That's so good. And thank you so much for looking at the flash. It's really good. Yeah. Look.
And I'm too afraid to let it go. If I could, I would turn back time. If I could, I would take it all back. If I could, I would bring back all the memories, not yours, only in my dreams. Oh, if I could.
In the middle of the photo shoot, a group of furry friends just came by and crashed the party on the stage. This little surprise just made my day, and I think these cute little babies are here to remind you to check out my other video on how to use the Canon R50 camera to film a dog walking business promo video.
Yes, we need the wind. Yes, chin up more. Move closer to the flash, my dear. Yes, there you go.
With the flash, you can also see the big catch lights in Jennifer's eyes, and this is something that I love about.
Nothing at all about what's going down. Oh,
Yeah, try to spin it. Yeah, we're looking for some motion. Yes. Oh, there we go. Got it. And do one more spin. There we go.
Jennifer has changed to a blue outfit for the next round of photo shoot, and she'll be using a pair of silver wings for the dance performance. I think the wings themselves are a reflector that is bouncing the light on her face. I'll first do the natural light photos and expose for Jennifer, and then I'll add the flash.
You ready? Okay. Yeah, let's see. Okay. Yeah, this thing itself is just like a reflector. Oh, this wing is so cool. And my shutter speed is 4,000 of a second. Okay. Okay, do a fast motion, Jennifer. I'll see if the shutter speed is fast enough. Okay.
Now I'm ready to add the flash. I think I'll underexpose the ambient light more by increasing the shutter speed to 1/6000 of a second. You can see that the background becomes darker with a faster shutter speed.
Yeah, you're like an angel. Perfect. Wow, that one is so good. I hope I didn't miss it.
The sun is setting down, so the location is now partly shady and partly bright. While the background is still strongly lit by the sun, the stage where Jennifer is standing becomes a big shade. I'll make sure Jennifer is in the shade, and this is my ambient exposure. She will be completely underexposed until I turn on the flash.
Let me get closer and bring 1 foot closer to the camera. Good. All right, you'll love it. Okay.
Sometimes her face is exposed to direct sunlight as a result of the movement, but this is fine. The result is still very impressive. And let's look at the ambient exposure when her face is lit by the sun. And now she goes back to the shade again.
Love that flowy wing. So good. All right, good.
Something that you don't want to do is to have her face partly in the sun and partly in the shade. and this is the result. You can see that the light on her face is still very uneven, even though there is a flash. Last time we focused on the videography part of the dance performance, and by the time we were done, the sun was already fading, so we didn't have too much time to shoot the photos and not to mention setting up the flash. What if we really have to go with the flow and shoot in this condition without a flash? To me, the light still looks very dramatic and pretty, and I tried my best to put Jennifer in the light, which was gradually disappearing.
I would turn back time if I could. I would take it all back if I could.
Lastly, here's the comparison between the flash and the natural light in bright sun. Notice that for the natural light versions, I exposed for Jennifer, and this is not equivalent to my ambient exposure in flash photography. Can you tell me which style you prefer? Getting to see your thoughts and comments will mean a lot to me. And please subscribe to Photo Sprouts for more photography tips. And thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. We're Photo Sprouts photography workshops in San Francisco and Palo Alto. Equipment is provided for beginners so that they don't have to buy a camera to come to a photography class.